Good morning, it's Jonathan Barrett with the Week Ahead report, and the current time is 7:34 and it's the 5th of November 2011. Okay, Week Ahead report, we basically cover what happened in last night's trading, plus we also go through next week's trading just to see if any important themes have developed and to see what sort of numbers we'll expect, and basically try and work out some sort of trends in the markets. Basically, let's have a look first of all about what happened on Friday night. US unemployment was coming out, G20 was meant to be meeting, and of course turmoil in Greece continues. And yeah, we'll take it each one as at each step of the way in terms of analysing each one of those. I guess the most important for me is what's happening in the US in terms of the unemployment rate. It actually came down to 9%, which was quite positive, and the US economy actually created about 80,000 jobs. A little bit less than expected, but look, there is growth, there is anemic growth, and I think as long as it's heading in the right direction, we've got to be encouraged by it. That didn't really help the markets. The market was still squarely focused on G20 and what's happening in Greece, and the fact there are still major hurdles there. And one of the major hurdles coming up is about what's going to happen with the IMF and how they're going to contribute to the bailout. Also, whether or not Papandreou remains in government. Obviously, there is a lot of talk that there's no confidence in his government, and looks like he might have a bit of an exit. You can see there him actually having a bit of a wave to the people. Ruling party lawmakers desert Papandreou. A little bit more turmoil to consider. Anyway, let's run through a quick overview of last night's trading. All right, first of all, oil longer streak, weekly gains, 95 is the top on there, breaks through there, then new range. Can't see why it should get up there, but anyway, remember we have that nexus, equities down, oil down, and that could be changed if in fact we get a break above 95.20 on the crude oil. Okay, Ireland plans a 17 billion austerity program. G20 fails to agree on IMF resources. Corzine resigns from MF Global. We'd expect that. Looking at the major stuff here, stocks, euro, Italian bonds retreat amid G20 disagreement over IMF role, pretty important there. US jobs gains, but slow, we know that. Greece government teeters, we know that as well. I guess that's energy, oil, we know what's happening there, a little bit higher than expected. So quite interesting, I guess. I guess the important here is the Dow down 61 points, S&P's down 7.92, and the Nasdaq closed down 11 points. Let's have a look at around the rest of the world, and you can see. There we go. You can see basically the Dow pretty under a little bit of pressure on the close. Top 50 also reversing some of those gains. We've had very volatile time, there's no doubt about it. Top 50 was down 2.54%. FTSE down 0.33, the CAC's down 2.25, and the DAX down 2.72. Very hard to actually trade that little puppy, as everyone probably expect. The local market on a SICOM basically closed down 27 points. 4,258. So a little bit, well, I suppose a little bit of movement, I guess, there in all the markets. Let's have a look at the commodity futures. Right, on the commodity front, Brent crude up 1.5%. On West Texas up 0.45. A little bit of moving around in the agriculturals, not too much. As you can see, wheat was up there a fraction. Soybeans were down a fraction as well. Copper down 0.5%, 356.75. Bifurcation point remains 360. The market seems to be hugging to that range. Gold down $7, 17.57. A breakthrough 17.75 sees the commencement of a new leg higher. So just be careful of that. Silver 34.13. Okay, I've got the chart up there, which you can see on the crude market. As you can see, lots of resistance here. Might see it actually try and test it, break through and reverse. Keep an eye on that type of pattern there because we've seen it quite a few times. There is no reason, unless we have missed something, as to why crude should trade onwards and upwards, but you never know. Okay, dollar index, 77.16, and obviously with what's happening in Europe, you expect a little bit of flight to quality there. Continue to see that occurring. We're down here at the moment. This looks relatively constructive, and all we need to see is a breakthrough 77.50 before we get to US 80. So happy to stick on that trend. All right, just a quick look at copper, 356, and as you can see, last night's bit of a range-bound type of event for the last couple of days, but the immediate range is 350 on the downside, or 347 on the top side, 375. Up until we break either side there, probably expect it to remain in its ranges. Okay, let's have a look at what's due out over the next week to see what we actually feel about. Just coming up. Okay, on Monday, ANZ job adverts in Australia, CPI in Switzerland, industrial production Denmark, and Eurozone retail sales. Consumer credit in the States, not exactly Tier 1 data there, but something to keep focused. Trade balance, NAB business confidence on Tuesday in Australia, which is critical. And I guess in the States there you've got just the TIP economic optimism index, but nothing too major out from there. Moving on to Wednesday, home loans in Australia, investment lending, and as we move, we've got Bernanke speaks at a conference, MBA mortgage applications in the States and wholesale inventories. Looking into Thursday, the big day for Australia, that's the unemployment rates, and obviously expected to see not as large a gain as before. In fact, tipped to see the rate actually get a little bit worse. So up to 5.3% there. A little bit of data, inflation data in Europe across the board there, as you can see, quite a lot. And then Bank of England announces rates, expected no change there as well. And in the States, a lot of persuasion, but we've got trade balance, initial job claims as per usual. Friday, basically not a lot out at all. But we do get some PPI out of England. But I guess in a nutshell, there's really not a lot of data out or Tier 1 data out next week. The markets will probably technically trade. It'll also give time for the market to focus on what's happening in Europe. Not that we're not already doing that. And you know, I actually feel that you'll probably get a new government in Greece. That government also will look to melt in with what the EU want, and I think that's pretty much what will happen. There's too much riding on it for them not to. I do want to see some positiveness out of the IMF involvement here, and I'd like G20 to agree on something there. But let's see how that unfolds. But that's it from me. Happy trading, good weekend, and we'll talk to you later. Bye for now.